My name is Tammy Fields. I'm 30, and I used to think love meant covering the bill quietly. The night my sister Kylie sent me her housewarming registry, I was still in my blazer, shoes off, but mind racing from a day of back to back emails. The text was cheerful, like a cupcake with a hidden nail inside. Hey sis, here's our registry for the housewarming. Can't wait to see what you pick. I clicked and froze. This wasn't a registry. It was a spreadsheet engineered like a corporate rollout. Tabs for kitchen, living room, outdoor, before the holidays must-haves. Columns for item, model, preferred color, delivery window. The living room list alone had a $6,000 leather sectional, a designer floor lamp priced higher than my first car, and a 70-inch TV she'd labeled Viewing Essential. Then I saw the tab in the middle, glowing like hazard tape. Cash support. Suggested renovation donation. $20,000. And under it, highlighted and bolded, Tammy, we're counting on you for this one. I actually said it out loud. Nope. Saw it? Ethan called from the kitchen, opening a seltzer. He's my boyfriend. The kind of steady that makes you realize how much of your life was tidal. Counting on me, I read, still staring, for $20,000. He leaned on the doorframe. Is she joking? With Kylie, jokes come with invoices, I said. My laugh sounded like a glass chime in a windstorm. The thing about Grandma Dolores's house is that it still smelled like lemon cleaner when we packed it out last spring. Kylie and Sean moved in 3 weeks ago. No mortgage, just utilities and upkeep. Kylie called it their forever home, as if forever arrived by RSVP. My phone buzzed again. A Pinterest board of paint swatches. Moonlight linen, champagne fog. Champagne felt accurate. I stared at the spreadsheet until the numbers blurred, then hit call. Kylie answered, in the middle of a sentence. And the quartz is perfect. It brightens the foyer without looking cold. You know how I feel about cold foyers. Hey, did you see the registry? Isn't it fun? Fun, I repeated. Kylie, the suggested renovation line. Oh, that, she brightened. We figured you'd handle it. You always come through, Tammy. You're the practical one. $20,000 isn't practical. It's a renovation budget. So? Her tone softened into something maternal and patronizing at once. You have more than enough. And it's not like we're asking everyone. We're family. We need support. I looked at the little digital clock on the stove. 7:12 p.m. I'm not sending $1. Silence. Not a shocked silence. A calculating one. Then she exhaled, flat and sharp. Then you're not invited. Click. Ethan set the seltzer down like he was afraid it might shatter. Did she just uninvite you? From her own housewarming? Apparently RSVP means remit sums very promptly. My throat felt tight. I tried to make it a joke and failed. The housewarming was that Saturday. I stayed home. I didn't post, didn't explain. I watched a dating show where strangers pick couches together and call it compatibility. Sometime around 7, my phone lit up like a fire alarm. Rachel, our cousin, then Aunt Jen, then Mom. I didn't answer, not at first. Rachel's voicemail came through in a rush. Where are you? Kylie said you bailed and the vibe changed. She's acting like a victim and Sean's awkward and call me. 10 minutes later, Mom. Honey, Kylie says you were supposed to bring something substantial. We need to talk. What happened? What happened? I opened the spreadsheet again, because sometimes cruelty hides best in columns and fonts. Do you want me to make you tea? Ethan asked. He hovered, careful, the way people get when they sense a storm that isn't theirs. I want a time machine, I said. I want to go back to every emergency she's ever had and say no. I finally called Dad. When he picked up, he didn't start with a lecture. He said quietly, Kylie told us what happened. We need to talk. So I told him everything. The $3,000 temporary loan last November when Sean got laid off. The $1,700 credit card for essentials that blossomed into anthropology and a spa. The 2 months of rent I covered in her transition. The dog surgery deposit I paid because he's family. The gifts, the little flights I comped, the dinners I pretended I wanted to treat. I watched the total in my head gather itself like stormwater, close to $10,000 before Kylie's latest ask. Dad was quiet for a long, fragile beat. Then he said, not accusing, not even surprised, just tired. This isn't the first time she's done something like this, is it? The spell broke a little right then. I wasn't crying, but I could have. It's the first time she said it out loud, I told him. The first time she made the invoice part of the invitation. I should have seen it sooner, he murmured, almost to himself. Send me that spreadsheet. I sent it to Mom, too. 5 minutes later, a bubble. Wow. Breathe, Ethan said softly, bringing over the tea anyway. Whatever this is, it's shifting. He was right. And because life loves irony, Selena, Ethan's ex, chose that exact night to drop a cryptic story online. Some sisters drain you dry and call it family. No tags, no names, just a baited hook tossed into petty water. I stared at it until my tea went cold. You think Kylie sent her something? Ethan grimaced. Selena follows Rachel. Kylie could have DM'd her, or she's just stirring. Either way, I'll handle it. I didn't answer, because the truth was less about Selena and more about a number in bold yellow, $20,000. The truth was about every time I'd been the helper, the fixer, the quiet wallet with a sisterly nickname. The next morning, Rachel texted me a screenshot. Kylie, hey babe, furnace might be going. Can you spot us $250 till next week? Rachel. Wait, didn't Tammy? Kylie. It's complicated. Just please help. I felt the chill before I felt the anger. She doesn't ask, I said to Ethan. She assigns. She tells herself a story where she's owed. By noon, the messages multiplied. Aunt Jen spotted her for $100 in July. Uncle Greg got hit up for property taxes on a house paid off. A neighbor painted the garage for free and never got gas money. A friend sent me a DM. Kylie said she'd fallen behind and needed help before Sean found out. No rants, no threads. I didn't need to fling words. I just held facts up to the light. I forwarded the registry to whoever asked and answered every question plainly. The truth is like bleach, cold, bright, unforgiving. That weekend, my parents sat Kylie down. I wasn't there. Mom called afterward, voice thin. She cried, blamed stress, blamed you. When we pressed, she accused us of taking your side. Dad took the phone. We told her we're not giving another dollar. And if she can't manage the house, maybe she shouldn't be living in it. Something small and hard inside me unclenched. Not triumph, not yet. Just the relief of hearing no from someone besides me. That night, Kylie left me a voicemail shaped like a siren. I'd ruined her, turned the family against her, destroyed everything. I didn't call back. I opened my email instead and found it. The invoice from 6 months ago. Washer and dryer, top of the line, purchased by me, warranty still active, installation in my name. Some mistakes you can still undo. I clicked reply to the appliance store and typed, hand steady for the first time all week. Hi, I'd like to schedule a warranty-covered retrieval. And for just a second, so quick I could have imagined it, I heard Grandma Dolores's laugh in my memory, the one that always carried a warning. Kindness isn't free, honey. Pay attention to the bill. When the pickup confirmation email arrived, I felt a strange calm, like I'd finally stopped treading water. Ethan looked up from his laptop. So, it's really happening? Thursday morning, I said. They'll retrieve the washer and dryer. He nodded. That's fair. It's still under your name. Fair, I repeated. The word felt foreign. By Wednesday, the family group chat had turned into quiet chaos. My cousin Rachel had finally compared notes with Aunt Jen, and what started as an awkward text chain turned into a full-on reckoning. Rachel. Wait, you lent her $250 this week? Aunt Jen. She told me the furnace broke, again. Rachel. She told me that too. Aunt Jen. She said the same thing last month. Within hours, the truth began to unravel, like one of Kylie's expensive decorative throws, beautiful on the surface, all loose threads underneath. Rachel called me. Tammy, she's been hitting everyone, even Uncle Greg. I sighed, already knowing. Property taxes? Yes, how'd you... Because she used that one on me, too. Rachel groaned. You know what's crazy? She still acts like she's the victim. She said you're turning the family against her. I haven't turned anyone, I said quietly. They just finally started looking. That night, Mom called again. This time, she didn't sound defensive, more deflated. I showed your father the receipts you sent, she said, and the registry. Tammy, it's bad. She's been doing it for years, Mom. I know, Mom whispered, but I think we wanted to believe she'd change. Belief doesn't pay her bills, I said. Mom exhaled. What are you going to do? I'm taking back the washer and dryer. A pause. You're serious? Completely. I could hear the tremor in her breath, like she wanted to tell me not to, but also knew she had no argument left. Meanwhile, Ethan was scrolling on his phone, frowning. Tammy, I think Selena posted something again. My stomach sank. What now? He turned the screen to me. There it was. Selena, Ethan's ex, with another cryptic post. When people pretend to be victims, remember, they're usually just jealous of your peace. It was petty, vague, and exactly Kylie's language. Ethan rubbed his temples. I think Kylie's feeding her. She can have her, I muttered. They'd get along great. Same taste in drama and designer lies. He smiled faintly. You know, most people would start a war. I'm done starting anything, I said. All I'm doing now is finishing. The next day, Rachel texted me again. She'd called Sean, Kylie's husband, to check in. His reply stunned her. I don't even know what's true anymore, he'd said. She told me her family cut her off for no reason. Rachel forwarded the message. He looked exhausted, Tammy, like he's realizing everything in real time. When I showed Ethan, he shook his head. You'd think living rent-free would buy someone peace. Entitlement has no off switch, I said. That evening, Mom called again, her tone sharper this time. Your father and I sat Kylie down. She cried, then accused us of betraying her. What did Dad say? He said exactly what you did. If you can't manage the house, maybe you shouldn't live in it. I swallowed hard. And? She screamed, said we were cruel, then stormed out. Typical. Tammy. Mom hesitated. I think she's unraveling. I wanted to care. A part of me did. But another part, older, exhausted, felt numb. Mom, she's been unraveling for years. She just finally ran out of thread. That night, I sat with Ethan on the couch, the soft hum of the air conditioner filling the silence. You think she'll retaliate? He asked. She already did. She tried to humiliate me at the party by not inviting me, but instead she embarrassed herself. He took my hand. Still, be careful. I nodded, but my mind was already spinning. Because deep down I knew this wasn't over. Kylie never let things go, especially when money was involved. Then, around midnight, a message came through from Kylie herself. You think you've won? You just made me look bad in front of everyone. Congratulations. I didn't reply. I didn't have to. The silence spoke for me. The next morning, my cousin Rachel called again. Her voice hushed, but excited. Tammy, guess what? Aunt Jen found out Kylie borrowed $300 from Grandma's old neighbor, Mrs. Keene, for repairs. She never paid it back. Mrs. Keene's in her 70s, I said, horrified. She lives on a fixed income. I know, Rachel said. She thought she was helping. Ethan shook his head. This is pathological. But it was more than that. It was habitual, learned, rewarded. And for the first time in my life, Kylie's tricks weren't working. By the end of the week, she was isolated, her allies quiet, her web of stories collapsing. Even Selena's posts had lost their bite, now just whispers into the void. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about revenge, it was about recovery. Taking back my washer and dryer wasn't just a transaction, it was a line in the sand. A statement that said, I'm done paying the price for someone else's entitlement. And the moment I realized that, I knew what I had to do next. I opened the small wooden box on my desk, the one labeled Receipts. Inside were envelopes, texts printed and folded, screenshots of transactions, and one bank statement marked with yellow highlighter. $1,800, wire transfer, car repair for Kylie Fields. She'd called me in tears that day, said the mechanic wouldn't release her car. I wired the money before finishing my coffee. She'd promised to pay me back in 60 days. That was a year ago. I closed the box and whispered to myself, 60 days are up. Thursday morning came gray and still, the kind of quiet that usually means something's about to break. The delivery truck pulled up at exactly 9 o'clock a.m. I stood in Kylie's driveway, clipboard in hand, my heart steady but heavy. Ethan had offered to come, but I told him no. I needed to do this alone. Kylie's car wasn't there, probably at one of her endless errands. But Sean's old silver sedan sat crooked near the garage, like it had given up too. When he opened the door, his expression wasn't angry, it was hollow. Tammy, he said simply. Hi, Sean. I held up the warranty and receipt. These are still in my name. I cleared it with the store. They'll uninstall everything carefully. You don't have to lift a finger. He looked at the paperwork, then back at me. For a long second, he didn't move. Just exhaled through his nose, a quiet surrender. Do what you need to. Mosh. The movers went inside. The metal clatter of cords and hoses echoed through the hallway. I stood by the front door, listening, remembering the day I bought those machines, Kylie hugging me tight, calling me her lifesaver. Now all I could think was how that word had lost its meaning. When the movers wheeled the washer and dryer past me, Sean stepped aside silently. I expected confrontation, excuses, something. But all he said was, "She told me you flipped out over nothing, that you just wanted attention." I raised an eyebrow. "Do I look like I need attention, Sean?" He shook his head. "No, you look done." "I am." He hesitated, voice low. "You know, she told me your parents were unfair, that they favored you. That's why she was always under pressure." My laugh was sharp and bitter. "She's been telling that story since high school. It's her favorite bedtime tale." He looked away. "I don't even know who I married anymore." "Then I guess you're starting to see what the rest of us already knew." When the movers left, I signed the final papers. The moment they drove off, the house felt emptier than it should have, like the truth had finally taken up physical space. As I turned to leave, Sean stopped me. "Tammy, for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing." I nodded once. "That makes one of us." By the time I got home, Kylie had called me 4 times. I let each one ring out. Then came the texts. Long, furious paragraphs alternating between outrage and guilt trips. "You had no right to violate my home. You humiliated me in front of Sean. You've always looked down on me. I'm crying so hard I can't breathe. Are you happy now?" I stared at the messages until they blurred. Then I placed my phone face down and brewed tea instead. Ethan came home that evening, kicked off his shoes, and noticed the silence. "You did it, didn't you?" "Washer and dryer are gone," I said. He smiled softly. "How do you feel?" "Free, angry, sad, all of it." He sat beside me. "You know, Selena posted again. But this time..." He showed me his screen. It was a photo of a quote card. "Sometimes the people you defend are the ones who sink you." I rolled my eyes. "Tell her I said thanks for the free PR." He laughed. "Already blocked her. Don't give her your peace." I leaned against his shoulder, exhaling. "Peace feels strange." "That's because you're not used to it yet." 2 days later, Mom called again. Her tone had changed. Firm, deliberate. "Your father and I told Kylie we won't be sending her any more money." I blinked. "You actually said that?" "Yes, out loud, for once." "And?" She screamed, said we're heartless, then hung up. "Progress," I said quietly. Mom sighed. "Your father added that if she can't handle the house, maybe she shouldn't own one." I smiled for the first time that day. I could have framed that line. But beneath the satisfaction, there was still that ache, the one that comes from knowing you were always the dependable one until you stopped being convenient. That night, I got a text from Rachel. "Tammy, he left." I called her immediately. "Who left?" "Sean." Packed a duffel bag and his PlayStation, told Kylie he needed space, said he was staying with a friend for a while. I sat down slowly. "No fight?" "None. Just walked out." Ethan looked up from the couch when he heard my tone. "What's wrong?" "Sean left her," I said. "Because of the washer and dryer?" I shook my head, because he finally saw everything. The lies, the money, the manipulation. The whole performance fell apart. Rachel texted again. He said, "If Tammy's taking back her gifts, there's more to the story." I exhaled. He's not wrong. By the weekend, the fallout was complete. Rachel demanded her $250 back. Aunt Jen stopped answering Kylie's calls. Uncle Greg left her on red. Even Mom stopped defending her. Dad summed it up perfectly during Sunday dinner. She's been living like she's untouchable. Now she's finding out what touch feels like. Ethan reached for my hand under the table. "You did what you had to." "Maybe," I said softly, "but I think this goes deeper." He studied me. "What do you mean?" "She borrowed $1,800 from me last year for her car repair. Said she'd pay it back in 60 days. Never did. I have the transfer proof, the texts, everything." His eyebrows rose. "And?" I'm done asking nicely. Ethan hesitated. "You're thinking of suing?" "I'm thinking of finally holding her accountable." He looked at me for a long time, then nodded. "Then make it clean. No warnings, no fights, just facts." Exactly. And as I opened my laptop that night, pulling up the small claims form, something inside me settled. This wasn't revenge anymore. It was reclamation. Filing the small claims suit was surprisingly quiet. No courtroom drama, no gavel slams. Just me, a stack of neatly printed screenshots, and a clerk who didn't even look surprised when I explained it was against my sister. "Family money cases," she said with a sigh. "We see them every week." I smiled politely, though something in her tone stung. I wasn't here for revenge. I was here for accountability. I slid the documents across the counter. Bank transfer, mechanic invoice, text thread where Kylie promised repayment. The clerk stamped them with a dull thud. "Filed," she said. "She'll be served within 3 business days." 3 business days. 3 days until the next storm. When I got home, Ethan was waiting at the kitchen island, sleeves rolled up, cooking pasta. He looked up as soon as I walked in. How'd it go? She's officially getting served. He grinned faintly. Remind me never to owe you money. I laughed for the first time in days. Don't worry, you pay in loyalty, not late fees. He smirked. Good, I can afford that. I sat, exhaling. Do you ever think about how people confuse kindness with weakness? Ethan stirred the pot thoughtfully. Because it makes them feel safe, until it doesn't. 2 days later, I got the call I knew would come. It was Kylie. The first voicemail started calm, rehearsed, like she'd practiced it in the mirror. Tammy, I got something weird in the mail. Did you really file a lawsuit? Are you kidding me? It's family. Then, 30 minutes later, another. You're heartless. This is over Keen 800. I've done more for you. She stopped mid-sentence. The recording cut, then restarted with sobs. I'm sorry, okay? I've been stressed. I'll figure it out. Please don't do this, please. But she never said the one word that mattered, repay. That same afternoon, Rachel called me, voice low. Tammy, I think you should sit down. Why? Because I found something. Rachel explained that Sean had come to her, confused, angry, and armed with paperwork. He'd been sorting through mail when he found a loan statement from the bank. It wasn't in his name, it was in Kylie's. A $50,000 home equity loan. She took it out right after they moved in, Rachel said. He thought his name was on the deed. Turns out it's not. It's just hers. My jaw dropped. Wait, Grandma Dolores' house? Yep, fully paid off, remember? And Kylie used it as collateral. Oh my God. I sank into a chair. So she's not just borrowing from us. She's mortgaging an inheritance she didn't even earn. Rachel hesitated. There's more. Sean called the bank. She's already missed 2 payments. I went silent. Ethan walked in just then and saw my face. What happened? She took out a $50,000 loan on Grandma's house, I said slowly, and she's behind on payments. His expression hardened. That's not just irresponsible, that's self-destruction. The next morning, I got another unexpected call, this time from Mr. Conway, Grandma's old lawyer. Ms. Fields, he began in that slow, careful tone lawyers use when they're about to change someone's day. Your grandmother included a clause in her will. I'm not sure if your family ever discussed it. I straightened. What kind of clause? It pertains to the property Kylie inherited. The will states that if the heir proves financially irresponsible or places the home at risk of foreclosure, ownership may legally transfer to the secondary successor, your name. I froze. You mean if she defaults, the house comes to me? Correct. Or if you choose to pursue it through the estate's accountability clause. For a second I couldn't speak. The words hung heavy, unreal. That was your grandmother's safeguard, he continued. She must have known something about Kylie's habits. I could practically hear Grandma's dry laugh in my memory. Kindness isn't free, Tammy. Someone always pays. Thank you, Mr. Conway, I managed. Of course. If she misses another payment, you'll have a decision to make. When I hung up, Ethan watched me carefully. What's wrong? Grandma's house, I said softly. There's a clause. If Kylie fails to manage it, it transfers to me. Ethan blinked. You're kidding. I wish I was. So you could legally take it? Technically, yes. He rubbed the back of his neck. Do you want to? I looked down at my hands, remembering the lemon cleaner smell. Grandma's laughter echoing through the old hallway. I don't know. I just know she's destroying everything Grandma worked for. He nodded slowly. Then whatever you decide, make it about principle, not revenge. I know, I whispered, but sometimes principle hurts just as much. That evening, Kylie called again. This time she didn't sound angry. She sounded desperate. Tammy, I know things got out of hand. I messed up, but please don't take this any further. Sean's gone, the bills are piling up, and everyone's turned against me. You're all I have left. I listened to the voicemail twice. Each word hollowed me out a little more. The next morning, Rachel sent me a screenshot of a new GoFundMe page Kylie had posted. Goal, $35,000. Caption, unexpected housing costs and family abandonment. The photo was of her standing in front of Grandma's house, head tilted sadly like a home renovation influencer mid-redemption arc. Dad texted me one word after seeing it. Unreal. Mom called later, voice breaking. I tried talking to her again. She hung up halfway through, said I'm part of the problem. I closed my eyes. She's not ready to be saved. Ethan leaned on the doorway, arms folded. So what now? I looked up at him, steady, tired, certain. Now, I said, I decide whether to let the house burn or take back what was meant to stay in the family. He nodded slowly. Whatever you choose, make it clean. No shouting, no revenge. I won't need to shout, I said. The paperwork will do that for me. The following week moved like a slow-motion collapse. Kylie's GoFundMe had fizzled. Barely $200 raised, mostly from strangers who didn't know the full story. Every few hours, she posted new captions, more dramatic than the last. Some people can't stand to see you happy. Family isn't always blood. When they all turn their backs, God stays. It was like watching someone drown in their own reflection. Meanwhile, Mr. Conway, Grandma's lawyer, emailed me the documents confirming the clause's activation threshold, 2 missed payments, and verified delinquency notice. Kylie had already crossed one. If she missed another, I had the legal right to assume ownership through the estate. Ethan watched me print the papers, his expression unreadable. So, are you going to do it? I stared at the ink drying. I don't know. Part of me wants to. Not to punish her, just to protect what's left. He nodded slowly. That sounds like something your grandmother would have said. 2 days later, Sean called. I almost didn't pick up. Tammy? His voice was quiet, hoarse. Hey, I said cautiously. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for how everything went down. You were right about her, about all of it. I sighed. I don't want to be right. I just wanted her to stop. She won't, he said simply. She's been lying to everyone, even about me. She told people I drained her savings. I rubbed my forehead. You didn't? I don't even know where her savings are, he hesitated. For what it's worth, if you can take that house, do it. Don't let it go to foreclosure. She'll ruin it out of spite. His voice cracked near the end, and I realized he wasn't angry. He was grieving. That night, I sat on my porch with the printed documents spread across the table. The moonlight caught the heading, Successor Transfer Agreement. Ethan brought out 2 mugs of cocoa and sat beside me without speaking. After a long silence, I asked, Do you think I'm cruel? He turned toward me. For what? For even thinking about this. Taking her house. The same one Grandma wanted us both to love. He shook his head. Tammy, cruelty would have been watching her destroy it. You're doing what she couldn't. Taking responsibility. I traced the embossed lettering on the page with my thumb. Grandma's name shimmered faintly under the lamplight. She used to say, kindness isn't free. I thought that meant people would take advantage, but maybe she meant it costs you to do the right thing too. Ethan smiled faintly. That sounds like her. The next morning, the decision made itself. I called Mr. Conway and told him to begin the process. He didn't sound surprised. You're protecting the estate, he said simply. By afternoon, Kylie's missed payment notice arrived in the system. The clause was triggered. The house, the one she'd bragged about, begged money for, lied to her husband over, was legally mine. I didn't celebrate, I didn't post, I didn't even tell anyone but Rachel and Ethan. Rachel texted in all caps. Grandma would be so proud. But pride wasn't what I felt. It was grief. Grief for what family could have been if truth had come sooner. That evening, Kylie showed up at my door. No warning, no call, just the sound of her tires screeching into the driveway. When I opened the door, she stood there with mascara streaked down her cheeks, eyes wild. You took it, she hissed. You actually took my house. I stayed calm. Grandma's house. And you defaulted. The bank notice triggered the clause. You did this, Kylie. You think you're better than me because you can quote paperwork? She spat. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? I've been waiting for you to grow up. She flinched like I'd slapped her. You don't understand what it's like. Everyone expecting you to fail. No, I said quietly. Everyone hoping you wouldn't. For a moment, her lip trembled, and for the first time in years, I saw the little sister she used to be. The one who'd begged me to braid her hair, who cried when she broke Grandma's vase. But then her expression hardened again. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said softly, but at least it'll be mine to regret. She turned and left without another word. Weeks passed. Kylie went quiet. The GoFundMe vanished. Selena stopped posting cryptic quotes. Life slowly steadied into something that felt like peace. The day the final paperwork arrived, I drove to Grandma's old house alone. The air inside smelled faintly of dust and lemon cleaner, like time had paused mid-breath. I walked through each room, touching the walls, remembering laughter and birthdays, and the way Grandma used to hum while she cooked. In the laundry nook, where the washer and dryer once stood, I found a small box I hadn't noticed before. Grandma's handwriting on the lid, for Tammy. Inside was a single note. When you choose peace over guilt, you honor your own soul. Don't let anyone rent space in your heart without paying for it. I sat on the floor and cried, quiet, cleansing tears that didn't sting, just emptied. When I stepped outside, Ethan was waiting by the car, watching the sunset wash the house in gold. Looks like it's really yours, he said gently. Yeah, I whispered, finally. He smiled. What now? I looked back at the porch light flickering on, the same one Grandma used to leave for me whenever I came home late. Now, I said, I fix what she broke, not just the house, the story. I locked the door, tucked the keys into my jacket pocket, and walked toward the quiet street, the last of the daylight fading behind me. Because some inheritances aren't measured in money, they're measured in lessons. And mine was simple. Kindness isn't free, but peace is worth every cost.